Hi, my name is Karina Okudal, editor of Astronomy by Night. I'm here today with Tyler Bourke, who is going to discuss an important astronomy event that's taking place in Vancouver in British Columbia. So Tyler, maybe you can go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and then tell us about this important event that's going to take place.
Great. Thanks, Karina. Yes, so my name is Tyler Bourke. I'm a project scientist with the Square Kilometre Array Observatory, so SKAO, we call ourselves now. In that role, I do a lot of outreach and engagement with the community, the professional astronomy community, who are excited to use the telescopes that we'll build. And internally, I work a lot with engineers and other professionals, project managers, for example, to make sure that they will build these exciting telescopes that the astronomers want. So there's sort of a dual role there. And we're having this meeting in Vancouver, a joint meeting between the SKAO and the National Radio Astronomy Observatory in the US, who are planning on building another telescope called the Next Generation ngVLA. So we're doing our own project, the Square Kilometre Array, and they're building, hopefully, the next generation very large array to build on the one that's existing at the moment in New Mexico. We're not partners with each other in either project, but these two telescopes in the radio wavelengths regime will be the biggest and best facilities for the next 50 plus years. So they are important, and it is important that we work together.
Perfect. So maybe we can dive in a little deeper too, and you can let me know why the event is being held specifically in Vancouver, and of course, what Canadians can take away from the importance of this event.
Right. So the event next week is a science meeting for the people interested in using both facilities to talk about the science they would do with both telescopes or with either telescope to start to share ideas to see how we could work together. As I mentioned, the two sort of projects are doing their own thing at the moment, but the astronomers, they don't care about that. They want to use everything that's out there, and so they're really interested to share their ideas. It's important that we're having this in Canada because in the SKA, Canada is one of our member countries, or very soon to be a member country. They've been involved in the project for a number of years. SKA has well over 10 countries. I think it's about 16 at the moment that are interested in the project. About 8 of those are currently full members. And Canada is also very interested in the ngVLA, in building equipment for that and being partner in that. So they're one of the few countries that are deeply involved in both projects. The ngVLA is very much a US-centric facility, whereas SKA has many member countries. So it is great that we're holding this sort of joint meeting in the country that's very heavily involved in both projects.
And how many people do you expect, how many attendees do you expect for this event?
We have 300 people attending. 200 of those will be in person, and 100 of them will be joining online from around the world. Stuff that was perfected, obviously, during the pandemic of how to hold these meetings in a hybrid format, so that we can do that and increase the audience, which is a great thing.
I guess, what type of information would you like to get across about these telescopes?
The biggest thing that we'd like to get across is that we need to use both these facilities to do the science that the scientists want to do. And not just these facilities. We're currently in a world where astronomers use telescopes across all wavelengths. In times gone past, you might just be, I'm an optical astronomer, or I'm an infrared astronomer, or I'm a radio astronomer. Nowadays, we are all pretty much multi-messenger astronomers and multi-wavelengths astronomers. It's something that's been key with, for example, the great discoveries of black holes merging from the LIGO observatories, for example. That's totally another way of looking at the universe. And so it's important that we have access to all these facilities, that they're not restricted because countries want them restricted or universities want them restricted or whatever. For the astronomers, we want to demonstrate that, yes, we do need to have access to all these facilities. And so that's the big message. We want the people at the top, for both SKA and NRO, and in the US, that means NSF, basically. But please let us have access to these. Don't restrict us.
What would you like to tell viewers, maybe either about the event or about the telescopes, or anything you feel that you should include to those listening to this video?
I think what I would say is that many people still the largest community of astronomers are basically using optical telescopes or maybe infrared, and that's definitely also true in the amateur world. That's certainly what I grew up doing. I do know that there is a lot of very technical people out there now who are dabbling in radio wavelengths in the amateur world and other wavelengths. It's very difficult to do. It's probably harder for an amateur to contribute like they can in the optical world. So I'd say just keep an eye out for these facilities. Look at what's been out there now. I mean, there's stuff being built in South Africa, in Australia, and also in Canada in the last 5 to 10 years that is just fantastic. For example, the Chime facility in Canada has been producing such great results over the last few years. To not be stuck just thinking about optical and even a little infrared stuff, but to look out there of how we look at objects in the universe at different wavelengths and what we can understand from them. So go and read up on it.
Perfect. And because International Astronomy Day is coming up, I'm wondering if you can tell us, maybe leave us with, just a thought or two about why you feel this is important.
I think it's important. Astronomy in general is important for us as humans to think about not only our place in the universe, but our place on Earth. We get stuck a lot, or we hear a lot on the news about all the bad stuff and all the politics and everything. And yet, if we step outside and look at the sky, get away from the lights and just contemplate what's the universe that we're in and what's out there, I think that helps us to, I would say, relax and put things in perspective. And I think that's always important. And I think that's something to introduce to the young people as much as possible now. It's getting harder and harder to see the night sky from many locations on Earth because of light pollution. If you're in a city, you may only see a few stars. So in order to keep the kids inquisitive and to help them with that perspective, we need something like International Astronomy Day and to go out and spread the word, get the word out there.
Well, thank you, Tyler, for taking the time in this interview. And we hope to connect with you again soon.